Beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning in the city of Lagos. Good morning and welcome to Today in the News here on Vanguard Live. My name is Ololade Adewumi. I'll flip into our newspapers for today, starting with Vanguard. Major headline on Vanguard says, how manufacturing sector can grow in 2026, says experts. Effective execution of new tax law incentives critical, says man. Macroeconomic stability key to sustained growth, says Onofowokon. Cautious optimism on economic outlook, says CPPE. Year of reaping benefits of reform, says LCCI. Rivers crisis. Why Fubara is yet to receive impeachment notice. Mandef inaugurates reconciliatory panel, gives it 2 weeks to broker truce. Temper justice with mercy. Two Rivers lawmakers ask colleagues to halt impeachment. Your action, assault on Tinubu. Mosop tells a Rivers Assembly. North Central APC Forum dismisses calls for Wike's resignation. 95 just to for Awujale stole. Tinubu, Obasanjo, Sanwo-Olu. Others mourn as Akran of Badagry dies at 89. And finally, 2027, Atiku, PDP, CUPP decry alleged crackdown on dissent. Away from that, a look into the Punch newspaper. Major line on the Punch says, 2-year refining milestone. Fuel imports spending crashes 54% to $6.7 billion. Bill falls from $14 billion in 2023 to $11 billion in 2024 and $6.7 billion in 2025. Experts push for refining. Boom. I look into our top banner, you'd see it says an impeachment storm. Fubara says no notice as two lawmakers pull out. Federal government votes 19 billion naira for VP's aircraft engine. Others. PDP, APC fight for control of Osun local government secretariat. 2027, APC targets 9 million registered members. Opposition kicks. And lower banner, it says Trump threatens airstrikes on Iran as protests its 621,000 unregistered refugees in Nigeria, says UN agency. A look into the Nation newspaper, major headline on the Nation says, Nigeria, UAE seal deal on trade, agric and manufacturing. Top banner, it says, lawmakers Pandef initiate Fubara Assembly Palais. Umahi, Lagos Sokoto Highway to unlock business in 6 states. Badagry Monarch Akran passes on at 89. Tinubu governor mourns. Lower banner, it says federal government proposes 1.38 trillion naira for pensions this year. And lastly, new Awujale likely in 2 weeks. Away from that, a look into the Guardian newspaper. Major headline on the Guardian says, APC stakeholders wade into Rivers crisis, impeachment plot. Top banner, you can see, it says gunmen kidnap 8, demand 100 million naira ransom in Edo. Obi faults Tinubu's UAE trip, says Nigeria can't be governed from abroad. KPMG chiefs, NRS meet to address errors in new tax laws. New Awujale to emerge next month as Kingmakers screen 86 nominees. Bandits kill 2, abduct several at casino wedding as government clarifies swap deals. And lastly, on the Guardian, it says release or arraign officers detained over rumored coup attempt. Falana tells military. That's all we have on the front pages of the newspapers this morning. Join us after the break for a quick analysis of some of our top stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today in the News here on Vanguard Live. My name is Ololade Adewumi. With me in the studio today for a quick analysis is Mr. Dayo Akintobe, publisher Ikeja Jari today, Lekki today, and Ilupeji today. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ololade. Good morning to all our viewers.
It's a pleasure having you here in our studio. I look into a major story for today. Rivers crisis, why Fubara is yet to receive impeachment notice. 4 days after an impeachment notice was raised on the floor of Rivers State House of Assembly against Governor Fubara, the governor is yet to receive it, contrary to insinuations that he has received it. This came on a day the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, the apex socio-political body of the South-South political zone, inaugurated a 7-member Peace and Reconciliation Committee chaired by the former Attorney General of the Federation, Chief Kano Agabi, with a 2-week ultimatum to resolve the standoff between the governor and the legislator. What are your thoughts on the fact that Governor Fubara has not received an impeachment notice despite all the brouhaha?
Well, that's probably just a clerical lapse because the House of Assembly seems determined to follow through with this impeachment process. And, the steps they've taken up to this point, I'm even surprised that they are administrative lapses. I doubt that the notice has not yet come because they're having second thoughts. No, they seem resolute in the fact that they want to get rid of this man. And my view about it is, look, the electorate has spoken, right? Even if things have changed politically, leave the man alone, let him serve his term. All this brouhaha that's happening, governance is suffering in Rivers. There is no, whoever says this thing, governance has suffered. I'm not sure the man has spent a single peaceful day in the office to attend to pressing matters of Rivers State. So my view is this, look, if you want him out that badly, 2027 is just next year. Rally all the forces, do all your campaigning, do everything, point out why he's a terrible person, why he's a bad person, why he needs to go. Because this impeachment process, first of all, this is the 3rd time they are trying to impeach him in 2.5 years. It's starting to look like a witch hunt, though. And secondly, you know that all of those House of Assembly members, they're all loyal to Nyesom Wike. So it looks like they're doing his bidding. Because I was of the opinion that once Governor Fubara defected to APC, his problems were solved. Because remember that majority of the House of Assembly is APC as well. And I did not believe, especially the way that a House of Assembly is usually subservient to the governor, loyal to the governor, and the fact that the center is supporting Fubara once he defected. The chairman of APC, Yeltwada, I think his name is, came out and said, governor is the de facto leader of APC in Rivers now. Then the Rivers State APC bigwigs themselves declared their loyalty for Governor Fubara. I thought, end of story, all is done. But for the State House of Assembly to still continue to be recalcitrant about wanting to get rid of this man, in spite of the fact that politically the man has created new alignments that are supposed to secure him in position. So it's starting to look like persecution to me. And it's just a witch hunt that is emanating from this problem he has with his godfather. Right? My view, after so many efforts to remove him and all that, is 27 around the corner, let the man finish his term. Even if you say part of the agreement was he won't do second term, he won't this, he can be defeated at the ballot box. So why are you using all these internecine feuds and method, below the belt methods to try and remove him? Don't subvert the will of the people. Allow it to play out. It's just a year and a bit left to go. Leave the man in peace. Let him finish his term. Then put all your effort into getting him defeated next year. They're already panicking that, he's going to get the APC ticket. The concern for me is the person who is orchestrating all this is not even an APC. He's a PDP person. Although PDP, for all intents and purposes, is dead in Rivers anyway. But he's a PDP person. What right does he have to be interfering in matters that are APC matters? So the whole thing is really upsetting to me. I'm not happy about it at all because at the end of the day, it's the Rivers people that are getting short-changed. They're not getting governance right now. The man is too distracted, too focused on trying to defend himself against, all these body blows that are coming from everywhere. 3rd impeachment attempt in 2 years. What's that?
Okay, you spoke about this being the 3rd impeachment. What are the constitutional requirements for impeachment of the state governor?
Well, it's for a majority of the House of Assembly. They will first raise charges against a governor. They will say what they believe he has done. In this case, the House of Assembly is saying that he's spending the government money without a budget, that he has not submitted a 2026 budget to the House of Assembly for approval, but government is still running. He's paying salaries, they are fueling vehicles, they are putting diesel in generators. So where is he getting that money from? That is illegal because he's spending the same money without an appropriation bill. So that is the charge they have laid at his feet. But on the other hand, they are saying that IBAS, the sole
Sole
administrator,
administrator, yeah.
passed a budget while he was in power, and that budget is still in force. That budget has not expired. So they are running the state under that budget, and that budget is still in force until the governor presents it. So look, it's just quibbling. It's just looking for things to put at the feet of the man, just as it means to the governor. You have to have allegations of either abuse of office, corruption, abuse of power. There's a list of things you can allege. And one of the things, of course, they've alleged now is that he's spending money illegally, So the grounds do exist. However, it's not automatic. Once they've raised those grounds of impeachment, then an investigation has to be carried out. That investigation, I think the Chief Justice of the state has to be involved to some extent. Then if that investigation concludes that he has committed impeachable offenses, then the whole house will have a hearing, then they will vote. So that's the process. That's the way it should work. But you can already see that Pandef is raising a peace committee because they are panicking, because truth be told, if the State House of Assembly has majority of the people who are loyal, starting from the speaker, the head, who is the one who probably can rally the troops. He is a staunch wicked man. And the majority of those that defected to APC, they are staunch wicked people. So the governor has fewer than the opposition has. So they have the numbers to impeach him. They do. But they've got to go through a process, and I'm not sure that the APC, especially since they control the center, that they'll just sit back and allow their own person. Because now Fubara is APC. So I'm not sure they will sit back and allow it to happen. So interesting days ahead. I think they will have some sort of compromise in the end.
Okay, so there have been reports going around that, President Bola Tinubu have instructed lawmakers to suspend or reconsider this impeachment proceedings. How significant would you say, the influence from the federal government is in this case?
No, it won't surprise me if he has done that. And I was hoping that he will wade in, because I think he has the gravitas, the elder statesman respect, and he has the clout to be able to make them stop it, So I think now that Fubara is under the broom protection, I think that if they see that this thing is really about to happen, they would deploy their jokers and all of the power that they have to make it not happen. So if they see it's getting out of hand, they may need to recruit the president to bring a stop to it, And of course, once the president says the word, I'm sure everybody will down tools and immediately, halt whatever movement. So remember, for long, the APC has wanted Rivers, and they have a good chance to get it now, because power of incumbency, power of the center. I mean, look, Rivers has been staunch PDP ever since we came back in 1999. If there's been any more dyed in the wool PDP adherent, it's Rivers, and it's the South. So it's really the beautiful bride for APC. So they see it within their grasp now that, look, okay, sure, we've got it by default because the governor has defected, but we can get it substantively in the next election. So they are excited about the possibility. Remember, they were defeated in 2023.
Yeah.
I remember their candidate, Onyeko. He went up against Fubara. He lost. And I think he also even tried again in 2019 and lost. And I'm sure he was gearing up for 2027. And of course, he's one of those who probably disgruntled that Fubara defected, because, this is always the problem with high-profile defections. There are already some people who've been there for years, who have been working for the party, and who have been hoping that their turn will come, their turn. Now they're all pushed to the background because Fubara has landed in the party and has taken over the reins and is the highest ranking person. So APC, I believe, will do whatever it takes because they want to have Rivers. Remember, in the whole of South, Rivers is the pivot in which the whole of the South revolves around, is Rivers. So if APC can claim that as its own, not by default because of the defection of the governor, but simply because we won it on the merits at the ballot box, that'll be a significant win for APC. So I believe they will not rest on their laurels and allow either a State House of Assembly or, political differences to derail this their moving train that is virtually capturing Rivers and everywhere else right now.
Okay, so let's look at the reconciliation committee that was set up. The reconciliation committee was set up by the Pan Niger Delta Forum, and it has been inaugurated with a 2-week mandate to resolve the political standoff. How important would you say the role of PANDEF is, in this crisis?
Well, these are elder states people. These are community activists. These are people who have fought for, reparations for the spoliation of the environment. These are community people who have always stood up for the rights of the people. So for them, they want what is best for their community, for Rivers, for the South, for Nigeria. So there are people that are respected widely. They are elder states people. When you think about the heavyweights in the Rivers, in the Rivers community, you think about people like the Clarks, Edwin Clark, the Clark brothers. You think about people like Dieter Spiff. You think about, very big names, even down to the Ateke Toms, the people like Tom Polo, people like Asari Dokubo. These are all people that, whether you like it or not, they have clout because they have community followership. So by the time you look at an organization like PANDEF that is renowned for fighting for the rights of the people, for them to be saying, look, we don't like the way this thing is going. Let us resolve it amicably. We're all brothers. You know how they say that relatives, if you end up in court, you don't come back as friends. We should always try and resolve family disputes internally.
Yeah.
So this is a family dispute. So remember at one time, Fubara and Wike were thick as thieves.
Yeah.
Governor Fubara was governor, Wike was governor, Fubara was his attorney general, accountant general or something.
Yeah,
to a point where EFCC was looking for Fubara, Wike protected him. So it's a family dispute. Do you understand? Even forget their history, but the fact that it's Rivers politics. So, it should be resolved internally. It shouldn't have to go to the level of impeachment because of course, if he's impeached, he will go to court to fight the impeachment, right? And if he's impeached, he's being impeached by APC people. So how do you think the APC committee, the state committee of the APC in Rivers, how do you think they will feel if APC State House of Assembly people impeach APC president and remove him? It creates internal chaos. It's like the nose fighting the mouth, all within the same family. So PANDEF is saying, let's sit down, we can resolve this thing. But remember, they've gone to Abuja to resolve it before. Do you remember? Before the state of emergency, they went where they all shook hands. President Tinubu was standing in the middle. Governor Fubara was here, Wike was here. So they've tried at the national level. So that's why PANDEF is saying, let's do it at the local level. Now where we speak each other's language, we can look in each other's face, we can remove politics and invoke family, invoke community, invoke locality. And let's see if that works better than what have been tried in the past.
Okay, so I'll look into our second story quickly.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has strongly criticized President Bola Tinubu's absence from Nigeria, particularly during the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week in the UAE, arguing that the country cannot be governed from the abroad. He questioned why Tinubu spent a large amount of time outside Nigeria in 2025, suggesting he was abroad more than he was at home during a period of rising hardship. Obi also noted that Nigerians had not had a direct address from the president since December 2025, with no New Year broadcast or even public reassurance amidst the security challenges. In this case, would you say that the foreign trip taken by the president is justified?
Without a doubt, President Tinubu is what they call a peripatetic president, which means that he galvanizes around the globe. Clearly, if you look at the pattern since 2023, he has undertaken quite a lot of foreign trips. Now, without a doubt, we're in a global economy now that requires alliances, partnerships, enough opportunity to be able to sell Nigeria to the world is required. And sometimes it takes the presence of the president himself to be able to do the marketing for it to
hold water.
For it to hold water, But you also have to create a balance because there's also a requirement that your people need to see you and hear from you, especially at the time when they're going through difficulty. I, for one, wasn't happy that the president wasn't here over the New Year, especially in light of all the things that happened through that period, like in Niger State, there was a drowning in massive drowning, I think, in Yola, in some other states. Things happen that required our leader to be among us, commiserate with us, express grief, because the loss of one single Nigerian loss is like the loss of a child to him. So when New Year came and we got a recorded address, he spoke. It's not that he didn't speak at New Year, contrary to what Mr. Obi said. He did speak. It was a recorded address. It had been recorded before he left at all. It was not direct talk to anybody. And I didn't like that because I think the beginning of a new year is an opportunity for rebirth. It's an opportunity for greater hope, to sell hope. And say, okay, so we've gone through the tough time of 2025. 2026 is upon us. Hope renewed. That kind of thing. So now, the first 2 weeks that the president was gone, they did not tell us precisely what he went for. They just said he's gone away to Europe on a working vacation. Should he have taken a vacation at all during the festive season when Nigerians are looking up for some ray of hope? It's debatable. Then this Abu Dhabi sustainability thing. Look, bottom line is that due to the digital technological age we're in now, you don't have to physically be present anywhere, even if it's very pressing, because you can attend virtually all these conferences. Yes, you've arranged meetings to link up with, talk to their trade minister, try and sign bilateral agreements and things like that. But it all can be done virtually nowadays. So I would say that Peter Obi is not too wrong in saying that this is a time when we need more of the president's presence. However, I would juxtapose that by saying it's easy to sit down in a chair and criticize. When you are actually there, I can't say that Mr. Peter Obi himself would do any different in terms of he too will see the need to extend Nigeria's image internationally. He too will take international trips. Maybe not as many, but I think we should be a little less quick to jump and criticize, especially in situations whereby the good of the nation is at stake. I want to believe that those who lead us still have the best intentions for us in the country and that they will always put their best foot forward. That's not to say they always do the right thing, but they're not always wrong either at the same time. So let's always try and be balanced in our viewpoints.
So would you say that, this criticism from Peter Obi is politically motivated?
That's what the opposition is there for. He's playing the role of an opposition. So whenever he sees something that he believes lends itself to criticism, it is his role to do that. So if the government, for example, look at this 2026 budget now that they've added so many, they said they shifted 70% of capital expenditure to 2026 and they put a freeze on new spending. But MDAs have added about so many trillion of new. They haven't finished last year's work.
Oh, yeah.
They are adding more. So you look at it and you say, what is governance all about at the end of the day? What really is happening to us as a people, to us as a country? Where are our priorities? So I think that the opposition has a clear role to play, just like media has a clear role to play. Is the three arms of government are not playing their roles because the legislature that's supposed to have oversight on the executive is in bed with the executive. So they are not carrying out their oversight function. Their function of keeping the executive in check. They are not carrying it out. So that gives the opposition a bigger voice because they are the ones now holding the administration to account. So of course a Peter Obi or an Atiku will speak up at every opportunity that there seems to be something to criticize. But my point is, it's not everything you see that you should criticize. There are some things you should let pass.
Okay, so let's look at the recording that was sent by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu instead of a direct broadcast. Do you think that would in any way undermine public confidence?
It may not undermine it, but it doesn't electrify hearts and galvanize minds. There are certain occasions, like Independence Day, New Year's Day broadcast. For example, New Year's Day, I was in the UK. By happenstance, I was in the UK. There's something that the British look forward to every year more than anything else called the Queen's Address. Well, this year is the King's Address. Comes on New Year's Day. They all sit in front of their TVs and wait for that King's Address because as a people, that is the unifying moment for them. their monarch, their sovereign, their leader is sitting there talking to them directly one-on-one. That person sits in his living room. Each person is in their living room before the fireplace. That time is when the electricity requirement in UK goes up the highest. You know why? Because everybody puts their kettle on the fire for a cup of tea. Because you're going to be sitting with a cup of tea listening to the King's broadcast. That's the one moment that the leaders used to unify everybody. At that moment, there's no Christian, no Muslim, no PDP, no APC. Let's go back to Nigeria. There's no rich, no poor. All of the divisions wipe out at that moment because the king is talking to us all as one big family. So I look at such significant opportunities, Independence Day, New Year, which is a chance for our Father to speak to us as his children. We are all one homogeneous globe. No difference, no male, no female, no Christian, no Muslim. We are all his children. And that is time for him to say, look, we've just come through a turbulent year. A lot of things happen. But we're on the threshold of a new beginning. Every new year is a new beginning, new opportunity, new hope. And this man's mantra is renewed hope. So what better opportunities do you have to sell renewed hope than at that pivotal moment when you've got the attention of the whole country? For him to have delivered a pre-recorded, canned, lukewarm message was a lost opportunity as far as I can tell.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us because our time is fast spent.
My pleasure always. Good morning, Nigeria.
We draw the curtain on the show for today. That was Mr. Dayo Akintobi, publisher, Ikeja GRA Today, Lekki Today, and Ilupeju Today. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms as seen on your screen. For up-to-date stories, check out our website at www.vanguardngr.com. My name is Ololade Adewumi. Until next time, bye for now.